embracing a growth mindset is so critical. We're all should be students of life, right? No matter what we do, leveraging this time to learn something new is so critical. So having some thinking time every day is extremely important.
Hi all, welcome to Engati Engage. Today we have the pleasure of welcoming Helen Yu to our interview series. I am Drishti Shah from the Engati team and would like to begin with just a quick intro of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform available across 14 channels with 25,000 apps created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by IMC, TechWorld, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, video channel, and the Engati Engage podcast, receiving upwards of 300,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest, Chief Customer Officer of Corp and founder and CEO of Tigon Advisory Corp. Helen Yu is a global customer success executive who delivers bold value, designing innovative approaches to drive growth, solving challenges for businesses. Through a career spanning early stage startups to Oracle and Adobe, her work has enabled multi-billion dollar revenue growth and record profitability. She's a top Twitter influencer in AI, blockchain, HR, and was named to the top 10 influencers in digital transformation by IBM, top 10 cybersecurity influencer, and global top 15 thought leader by Thinkers 360. So, hi, Helen. We are really happy to have you on Engati Engage.
I am honored to be here today. Thank you.
Yeah. So, before we begin with the interview, here's a quick announcement. So, we have something special for all of you. So, stick around till the end of the interview. So, beginning with the first question that I have, Helen, that can you shed some light on the traction gap from the Tigon Advisory?
Sure. There's really no perfect out there, especially now that there's great uncertainty. While I describe the traction gap for startups, it clearly applies to all companies. If you think about really from strategy to execution gaps, I call them disconnects. Occur everywhere, right? The disconnect is the difference between where the company is at today from where they want to be or where they need to be. So just recognizing these gaps put the company further ahead. So there are 5 traction gaps. Number 1 is a product to market fit gap. When company has an idea, moving from idea to product to market, that early miscalculation often results in products mismatched to market demand.
Yes.
Right. So that's the product market fit gap. And second one is customer voice gap, right? You think about the customers always tell you what they want, but you've got to leave the lab and listen or have someone who really does or someone who knows what to listen for. The third gap is the defined minimum gap, right? For company to be minimum viable, they must have a product really that's marketable. It's just having the great feature is not enough, right? You have to understand how to really market your vision.
Yes.
And then the fourth gap is process gap. You think about it's all about the process. You have to have the process in place to really systematize your success. And then so that the process, so that whatever that is, you need to have a process that's repeatable and scalable.
Yeah.
The last one is measurement. If you think about the company, you have to really have a measurement that drives the success and then consistently across the organization for the company to scale.
Yes. So that actually is, you have highlighted. These are the major touch points that every company has to cover today when, like a mantra of success type of thing. So if these points are covered, then maybe it's a smooth process, but it's a big challenge today. It's not that easy as we say it. Yeah.
Absolutely, because it takes more than enterprise logos to turn a startup into a scale up.
Yes.
You have to have the discipline, right, injected in the company to scale.
Yes. So how can startups strike a balance between accelerating growth and while creating deeper customer experiences?
I don't really think companies today can choose between growth and the customer experience, right? Creating a deeper customer experience is something you must have in order for you to grow. The high performing companies are people obsessed. They focusing on customer success around providing a valuable, unforgettable customer experience. So creating that culture of accountability around customer experience is really critical. How do you do that? We do that at Showpad. We map out the customer journey, right? So you'd have a very deep understanding of your customer before they even became your customer. They actually understand. They do a lot of research, right? Really evaluating what they're looking for, and then they find the company they want to work for. And then as they move from evaluating to make the investment decision to adopting your solution to expand your solution, and then that journey, you got to understand what their expectation is. You first understand who your target customers are, what their expectations are, and then what kind of process and resources you have internally to meet that expectation. And then if you don't have that available, you create the process or hire the talent to really bridge that gap, right? That's how we do that. But it's easy to say than to be done. There's so much process and thinking into that, and then also you need to have the right talent in place to really make sure the execution is flawless.
Yes, definitely. It's like for growth, the first thing you need to focus, at least right now in this era, is that customer experience. If customer centricity is a company goal, then that might lead to growth. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what are the typical barriers that blocks a business path to digital transformation?
I see that there's three major gaps. The first one is the culture gap, right? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. That's really the hardest thing to change but it's worth the time and heart for organizations to invest in changing that. A culture of collaboration is so critical. A culture of collaboration, culture allows cross-functional leaders to really share information, collaborate, adapt to changes. That's really the first thing you got to have. Secondly is the talent gap. If you think about digital transformation, it needs a triple play. It needs a people, process, and technology as a new mode of service, right? So what you can do, you either upscale your current workforce or you are by model, right? Meaning that you have to redefine individual roles and competencies as needed and then as nimble as you can. The third thing is current practice. And you need to have a practice that support the talent, right? What that means that, your practice cannot be too complex. If it's too complex, it's not going to be nimble. You can't adapt to change or digital transformation anymore. So all those three things are super critical for companies to really adapt to change. I can give you an example. A couple of years ago, I served an advisor to a startup. They're really at a time when they start a company, even 5 years before I get engaged, there are only more than 100 MarTech company, but then 5 years later, there are 5,000 of companies, right, in that space. So what that company had to do, they have to adapt. They have to figure out how do they, come up with a go-to-market message that really resonate with the market. So what we did, we have to revisit the pricing model, go-to-market message, go-to-market strategy, everything we have to rethink, right, the way they go to market. Then we were able to pivot from mid-market to enterprise. We're able to really grow them. So they grew really, really fast. We were able to double their revenue within 6 months, double the revenue 2 years prior. And then they are named as the top 25 most promising companies by CNBC as part of that process.
Yeah. So these barriers that you're talking about, what should the companies do to overcome these barriers?
The companies first need to understand where they are at today, I think have a accurate assessment of where you are at, not only compared to yourself and then compared to industry standard, compare how your competitors are doing, and then really understand the market demand there and understand your customers, what your customers are thinking. So always align your strategy to customer needs, and then also, really adapt your go-to-market message to the customer need. I think that is really, really critical to constantly adapt to the market change and shift, right? Right now, the current environment is very different. Every company going through digital remote selling, digital learning. It's, no matter how sounding your go-to-market strategy used to be, it's no longer the case. So you have to really adapt to the change, really quickly, and then come up with something that more relevant to the current market demand.
Yeah, and it's always better to embrace digital transformation before you are pushed into it. Then you have to just do it in a hurry, and then you are lost, and then you want to roll back. So it's better to go take steps before and foresee what you want to do. And like today we are so companies who haven't thought about embracing technology before are now struggling with, and those who have embraced, I think they are doing really good even with the crisis going on. So
absolutely. I mean, companies shouldn't just go do digital transformation for the sake of transforming, right? And you have to think about why, right? You have to really start with the why. Think about what are the objective you want to accomplish, and then how you measure that. Do you have the workforce or talent to really do so? And so there are really, really these critical questions you have to answer before you jump right into the digital transformation. As I mentioned earlier, it's not just about the two technologies, about the culture, talent, if you have the practice, right? And then two will come in at the end, but then that would be a very small component of the entire digital transformation.
Truly. So talking about adapting technology and digital transformation, so what do you think is the future for conversational intelligence and bots?
The conversational intelligence and bots, I think it will become a function of high performance companies, right? Within the next 2 years, I see more organizations having a leader in place who will define the customer experience with much larger set of tools, digital experiences, and being among them, right? And then if you think about these companies need to really start embracing the changes, right? I think that's critical for us to enhance and leverage the machine to enhance and complement our intelligence so that, they can automate the administrative things that we do not want to do, so that leave us for more complex and critical thinking type of work to propel the organization growth.
That's true. So how do you think it's going to change the way we are working and the relationships with customers or even within the organization?
I think it will help us better understand our customers. In the sense, machines can help human really think faster, right? Give us more accurate projections on what may happen. And then that would really help us to focus on, I would say, more critical thinking type of task. To me, it can really help us transform the way we live, right? Saves a lot of time. I use, for example, Alexa at home. I sometimes ask Alexa some questions and it responds back to me right away. So while I'm driving, I can have a bot there talking to me. It's kind of really cool to think about that, right? Transform, help me organize my calendar of the day, so I don't have to worry so much about, I'm driving, I cannot type or do things. So there are a lot of things that we can do better leveraging the technology. Obviously, humans do need that interaction, right? I think about there are 4 layers of interaction: emotional, spiritual, that physical, intellectual. So the machine cannot give you every aspect of that, unfortunately. So I always think that when it comes to relationship, there's students that need human interaction is still critical, important. So it would not replace that component, but it definitely will help us to do many things and help us enhance the way we live.
Definitely, that would help. So, what role does AI and technology play in an organization's business transformation cycle?
I think the business transformation will happen in two ways for companies, right? So they will either disrupt or to be disrupted. Let me share a quick story about the role of AI, right? It was a conversation between two famous people everyone on the planet knows, the billionaire Jack Ma and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, right? They were on stage at the 2019 World AI Conference. And then Musk said he predicted that AI will be smarter than the smartest human. So someone asked him how much smarter. So he described it one word, vastly. The question is, what does vastly really mean for companies today, right? And to your question, what factors really support that? So there's just no question that AI is here to stay. We all know, but it will change our lives, enhance our lives as employees, leaders, customers, or supply chain partners or consumers, or even boards, investors, or human beings. But for example, Siri, right, helps people to find information or remember things. And Alexa reschedules our doctor appointments for us. Amazon has been using that, right? You think about for years, and then someday it definitely expects us to ship customer products they don't even know they need.
Yeah.
And then in the article, it's very interesting. I believe AI will not replace human, but AI will enable us to ask the right questions to innovate, right? So in essence, we need to look at AI as a tool to do exactly just that. Ask the right questions so our companies stay ahead of the competition, stay ahead of the customer expectations, and stay ahead of innovation.
Yeah. It's just wonderful how much even the machines today, not even AI, but the technology that we are in. Like I remember one instance that I had is that I booked a movie ticket, and when it was due, like the day before, so T-1 hour, so it told me that you should leave from your home because this is the traffic, this is the time you're going to take to commute to the theater. So you should do it, and it's like it's so helpful that I don't have to worry about these small things. When will I reach, what will happen? It's just there. All information is just there. I just have to consume and worry about bigger things in life. So
Absolutely, as creepy as it can be, but it's really I vote for having the convenience, right? It provides, but at an organizational level, we also have to think about why we need to adopt AI and machine learning. What problems are we solving through technology, right? And then also what needs to be done and how people contribute to the success, and what workforce composition looks like from a technology perspective, and then the training program to reskill the existing workforce, prepare them for future work, the CEO and leadership team role in that adoption, and then how is AI adoption success being measured? All these questions need to be answered at the organizational level. But in the personal life, I vote absolutely, right? There's just no doubt it provides all sorts of convenience for us on a personal level.
I think that we need privacy, but I think in today's world, when we as voluntarily go on social media, and there is GPS on my phone, there are video cameras everywhere, I don't think there is something called as privacy, like very there. But I love the personalization that this technology is giving me, and so it definitely, like, it's worth it. Like,
Absolutely. I think there's a give and take relationship there. I mean, you cannot expect any convenience without giving up a little bit, right? Privacy, and then vice versa. It's just, it really depends. It'd be good someday we can pick and choose and decide, right, how much we can gain in terms of convenience, and then it's within our control. But I mean, as you mentioned, I don't think it's up for us as much at the moment, unfortunately.
So, any other thoughts that you would like to leave our audience with?
Yes, thank you for asking. My parting thought is that embracing a growth mindset is so critical. We're all should be students of life, right? No matter what we do, leveraging this time to learn something new is so critical. So having some thinking time every day is extremely important. I try to do that with myself as well, right? Lastly, use our purpose to become a multiplier, meaning that really, spend some time to contribute to the community, use our talents to help someone else grow or thrive, right? Or pass along our growth mindset to others. And ultimately is how we're going to change the world for good.
Yeah. That's actually so needed right now. Like where we ourselves are the only thing that we can help each other, and with digital that we have around us, I don't think there's a great barrier that we can just connect like you and I are, and it's great that we can share this knowledge with people around the world and we can help them. So if everybody does their bit, then I think the world will be a better place to live in.
Absolutely, right? If technology is, no matter how great it is does not serve the better for the world, it's really meaningless. So it's always great to do something, making sure that we leverage the
Yes,
advancement technology to improve, enhance the world around us.
yes, definitely. Completely agree. So thank you so much, Helen, for giving us your time. I think the advice that you're given, I think the audience will completely agree with that and will really enjoy the interview that you're given. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. So hopefully you have a wonderful rest of the week and then stay healthy.
Yeah, thank you. So, would like to add something that if you've stuck around for this long, we are so excited to announce that our ebook, The Return to Normalcy, Work from Home to Return to Office, is out and available to download. So, you can check the link in the description below for more details. And we'll be back soon with a new episode and a brand new expert. So, stay tuned.